welcome everyone to Automotive Tech Week and our Automotive Inspire interviews. I'm Drew Winter with the Informatech Automotive Group, and I'm here today with Cindy Cedeno, who is an industrial engineering manager at the Nissan manufacturing plant in Canton, Mississippi, and she has some great stories to tell. Thanks for joining us today, Cindy. You know, I'm always fascinated about how people find their way into the automotive industry, and you've got a great story. You know, you grew up in the Caribbean nation of Trinidad, and now you're an engineer at Nissan in Mississippi. That's quite a journey. So first off, I got to ask you, tell us a little bit about Trinidad, because I think most people in the U.S. think of it as a vacation spot, but it's actually a big island with the Caribbean's largest economy with, you know, lots of heavy industry, petroleum, energy, steelmaking. You know, tell us about that.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Drew. So it's Trinidad and Tobago. So it's two islands. Trinidad being the bigger and most popular island. It's very small, 1.5 million people. As you know, it's gorgeous beaches and well known for the carnival. We have a lot of tourists around the world that travel to Trinidad for the Carnival Festival, which is around the same time as Mardi Gras in Louisiana. Pretty small island, and I often ask people, you know, do you know where Trinidad is? It's off the northeastern coast of Venezuela, so we have a lot of Spanish influence, and it's right on the tip of South America. Also, as you mentioned, natural gas and oil is our natural resource. A lot of our economy is highly industrialized. And then we also have some small resources like sugar and water resources. So yes, I'm originally from Trinidad.
So do people, you know, when you tell them that, do they say, how in the heck did you leave tropical paradise and to come build pickup trucks in the U.S.?
I know, I ask myself that question sometimes too. You know, I started my engineering career, internships, and even after I graduated in petrochemical. So I worked for a methanol company, and you know, I quickly realized that, you know, it was not in my career vision. My dad worked in the oil refinery, and all his life, you know, he started as a operator in the oil refinery and worked his way up into managing the huge heavy oils plant, and also was involved in commissioning and approving any kind of construction in the refinery, of course, obeying all the safety guidelines from Trinidad. But I quickly realized, as I mentioned, that I'm a visual learner and I get motivated when I can actually touch and feel my end product, right? As you know, in the petrochemical industry, we're refining and we're reforming chemicals, and, you know, the end product is transported to the destination through pipelines. So you're not really seeing what is happening. I always loved Nissan. I always loved the vehicle, and I decided to do some research and some jobs opening for Nissan, and saw this job opening in Pocket, Mississippi. I was interviewed and offered the job and negotiated international transfer. I moved in 1999, so I've been here 21 years. And transitioned from that first job into Nissan as a lead new model project engineer. So that's how I ended up in Mississippi.
Okay. Well, and maybe we can go a little bit further back and just say, you know, some people are interested in STEM fields at an early age, and others are influenced by their parents or certain people or events in their lives. So, I mean, you know, how did you, you know, you talk about your dad, but I mean, you know, can you give us a few more details about how you got interested in being an engineer, and specifically an industrial engineer?
So, you know, I always liked engineering. I'm very analytical, even my personal life. Always liked solving problems and was always interested in new innovative ways of doing things. Was not quite sure what engineering I wanted to do. In Trinidad, we have like one engineering university. So that was the first challenge, is, you know, getting accepted into the engineering school in Trinidad. So right after high school, you know, we have so many smart high schoolers applying to this one university. So got accepted into university and actually started in mechanical engineering. All machines, all automation, was not highly interested in mechanical, but I also had some interest in petrochemical at that time because of my dad working in a refinery. So I did a little bit of chemical engineering classes also. And then I realized, you know what, I want it all. So, industrial engineering is really a combination of all the engineering fields that you can use the principles in mechanical and chemical, civil, and you really work in any industry.
So now you actually work at the Nissan plant in Canton, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So it's a huge facility. It's almost 5 million square feet, 5,000 employees, 410,000 unit capacity. That's a lot of pickup trucks. What's it like working in a plant the size of a city?
So, I definitely get my daily steps in. Pretty large, we have, the metal start all the way to the interior design and installation assembly. It's very, very interesting. One of the biggest things is that working for a big organization like Nissan does give you a lot of opportunities to learn the business. As I mentioned earlier, I'm transitioned from process engineering, industrial engineering, and now I'm in digital acceleration. There are always job opportunities, and I tell the young Mississippian professionals to take advantage of that right here in Mississippi. You have this huge manufacturing assembly plant. You get employed, and you have so many opportunities to learn the business, the holistic view of the business. So that's the biggest thing for working at Nissan. The other thing is, as I mentioned, I'm a physical person. I like to see the visual end product. Actually seeing, especially when I worked in the minor model launch project team, you get to see the design phase, implementing the processes in the manufacturing plant, and then actually seeing the product drive off of your manufacturing plant. So that's really, you see your hard work. You see, I've been working on wire harnesses, and you see it in the vehicle. So that's probably the most satisfying thing about working at Nissan.
Yeah, that's great. So I see you're involved with implementation of, you mentioned earlier about digital acceleration initiatives, on the shop floor, transforming the manufacturing floor to a paperless and more efficient environment. And you develop and coordinate new training to develop a digital mindset. So, tell us a bit about what developing a digital mindset means.
So, part of my training and part of my career is industrial engineering. And one of the things is, identifying waste and reducing waste. So eventually eliminating waste so we have more cost efficient. So, digital acceleration, one way to do that is technology, right? So we're transforming the way we do things with a lot of paper to more efficient ways. So supervisors on the production floor can access information more quickly. They can have the information more available at just this is a customized iPad with all the supervisors' tools. So it's like an information hub. So again, we go back to the mindset, right? We've been doing paper for a very long time. So that transition from paper to digital is all physical, but now we have to change the mindset of the employees. We just recently developed 2 initiatives because we saw that is a very important component of our transition. We realized communication is key, involvement is key. So we've developed 2 initiatives. One is Ask the Expert. So we open up an open forum for our stakeholders, our customers who are supervisors, to come into this open forum and ask any questions. If they need additional training, we give them additional training. Also, we have done during the development and the testing and deployment, we get these supervisors involved. Their job, they're the expert, right? So they come in and give great ideas, great feedback. and we implement these ideas, and they kind of act like advocates now on the production floor. They go out there and share it with their colleagues, say, hey, this is how we can do this. It's more efficient. So that's the way we use communication, which is very, very key in our projects.
Great. So what are your proudest achievements in your career so far?
So in manufacturing, it's very, very critical that we identify problems as quickly as we can. And we put in data-driven solutions as quickly as we can. In 2017, I developed the program and training on campus in our plant to make sure that we have the best training. It's called VUP, the VUP program, which is Value Up, and it's Nissan's global problem-solving tool and methodologies. So what we do, we have this training with different levels. As the levels increase, the tools increase, the extent of the projects increase. So I was involved in development of this project. So one of the greatest things about this is, I get to mentor and coach and teach employees, and I've trained maybe over 400 employees, and I get to see them take this methodology and tools and use it in their work. So they're constantly using the tools that I've trained to solve problems. And some of them are very simple tools, and some of them are very complex tools, but they're able to use the tools in their day-to-day activities.
That's terrific. And I have to tell you, that my dad was a manufacturing engineer and a plant manager, and in the 1970s, he made it manufacturing just sound like it was the best job anybody could have, and he talked about a lot of things you talked about building things and feeling that satisfaction when things roll off the assembly line or whatever. But certainly there's historically the auto industry has not been known for being very diverse. Do you work with many other female or Black industrial engineers at Canton, or is it a little lonely in that way?
Well, even I go back to engineering school, the female population in engineering has never been high. However, I feel like time is changing, our mindsets are changing. The male to female ratio is still very high, but it's improving. I try to make it an extra effort to encourage, especially upcoming young professionals, that it's okay. It's okay to be a little bit different in the workplace. It's okay to look different. It's okay to be the only female in a meeting or project. So yes, it still needs work, but it's improving. Yes.
Well, that's good to know. So you've also been a speaker for students. You talked about this a little earlier. You've been a speaker for students, and you're pursuing STEM careers. Tell us a little bit more about what advice you have to give students, especially young women of color, about pursuing careers in the automotive industry and becoming industrial engineers.
Correct.
Can young people still get excited about building things? Yes.
So, automotive, I tell everyone, automotive is dynamic. It's ever changing. Nothing's constant. And I mean, that's how we need to be competitive. So I tell them that. I tell them it's dynamic, and there are many challenges, right? I use these challenges not as roadblocks or as failures. I use it as lessons learned to help not only personal but professional level. Use these lessons, these challenges as lessons learned. I also tell them, develop your personal brand. Who are you? My personal brand is, I use my difference as an asset. I'm different, yes. But how can I contribute differently to the group? A different perspective, a different mindset can bring so many different new ideas. The other thing is networking. networking is key to the success for any career. Making sure you have the right people around you that share similar vision and goals, or help to encourage you to achieve your goals and objectives. So that's key for an upcoming STEM person, or anyone in any career actually, but particularly in the automotive industry.
Well, that makes sense. So if we flip this around just a bit, and we've only got a couple minutes left, but the U.S. is desperate for talented young STEM graduates. What can the automotive industry as a whole do better to recruit talented, diverse graduates?
So, I think any organization that's interested in a diverse talent first must have a diverse platform. And that includes having whoever is interviewing, the interview panel has to be diverse, has to be open to diversity. And also, we all do it, and sometimes unconsciously we do it, but I think training and acknowledgement that we do all have unconscious biases. So training on how we can counteract these biases during an interview or even at the workplace. So I think the recruiting process, it has to start with the recruiting process, having that diverse panel and having that diverse mindset.
Sorry, I just hit the mute button.
That's okay.
So you're the founder of a social club for boys and girls, including kids on the autism spectrum. Could you talk a little bit about what you're doing?
So this is a little bit personal. I have two kids. I have a 16-year-old daughter and I have a 14-year-old son. When he was 3 years old, he was diagnosed with autism. So he's a high function. A lot of people do not like to hear the word high functioning, but he's high function autistic. And throughout the years after his diagnosis, I realized that a lot of people do not really understand or know what autism is. So the group was developed, for one, to spread awareness, and also to incorporate a little group that involves both atypical and autistic kids. I feel like kids learn best, just like adults, learn best when we have action, when you see other people doing things, or lead by example. So this group, what it does, we only operate in the summer because I'm already super busy. My schedule is packed. What we do, we have these mini summer activities, soccer and karate and football. And some of the kids on the group are very passionate about broadcasting. So we've toured some of the local TV stations. So basically, it's a group to incorporate kids on the autism spectrum, and also to raise the awareness of what autism is.
Well, that's great. I ask everyone I interview to finish this sentence. Finish this one for me. I love working in the automotive/mobility industry because
the industry is dynamic and it's challenging, and I love a challenge, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good answer. Well, it looks like we're out of time, but thanks so much for being here today, Cindy. It's really been nice talking to you. I learned a lot about Trinidad, and really about you and engineering. Really, I just really enjoy doing these interviews and talking to people from all sorts of different backgrounds. But thing we do have in common is we all like working in the auto industry. So
there we go. Yes.
It's cool. It's very cool. So thanks again for being here. Thank you, everyone in the audience, for watching today. I'm Drew Winter with the Informatech Automotive Group, and enjoy the rest of the show.